Greetings! In today's video, I will be taking a look at this travel watercolor paint set from Funto. Let's see what we have in here. So from the back, we can see that this set includes a portable storage bag, a 12-color watercolor paint pencil sharpener, an eraser, 10 postcards, a travel watercolor brush, a fine liner, a water brush, a drawing pencil, and a little spray bottle. I think that's really cool. That's a nice presentation. It's a nice felt storage bag with quite a sturdy elastic on there. I don't know if there's it seems to be quite in the middle, so I think you can remove it from the top or from the bottom. Ooh. Little spray bottle, the sharpener, the eraser, travel brush, the water brush, the paint set, fine liner, water-based, non-toxic, high quality, hopefully waterproof as well. Ooh, the pencil, quite stylish. I was not expecting a all-black pencil. Oh, that's nice. A swatch chart that comes with the postcards. That's really cool. Let's take a look at the paints. Oh, a bit jumbled. I'll have to sort these out. But if we look here, we have lemon yellow, golden yellow. So I'm thinking this is lemon yellow, this is golden yellow, and then scarlet, deep green. This is probably black. I don't know which one would be medium blue because there's quite a few blues. 3 of them. This is possibly coffee brown. This is obviously a hot pink. Oh, maybe this one is deep green and this is bright green. White. And then light blue. I'll have to swatch them, but one of these is medium blue and the other one is lavender. That's going to be easier to sort out once I've swatched these, so I'll get on to that. I'll open everything, test everything, do my swatches, do my demo paintings, and then we'll come back and we will talk about all of this. And I'm really excited to share my impressions with you. So see ya in a bit. And I'm back with my impression on this little set. So right away, I quite like this little spray bottle. It's really tiny and I couldn't imagine spraying large canvases or large pieces of paper with it. But in the context of a travel set, it's really fun. And so far, it hasn't leaked. So that's always the most important factor. In the bag. Alright, so I've put some items in separate bags just to make them a bit more convenient. I feel like these are small and I would worry that they might fall off the bag. Because even when it's closed, there's a bit of a gap here, so I think the sharpener could easily fall off. With a bag, that's harder. But the water brush, pretty standard, worked well. I'm not the most knowledgeable user of water brushes. They're not my go-to type of brushes, but it worked fine. The travel brush was also quite nice. My only issue with it is that it's kind of loose in the way it connects, and I could picture this separating while I'm painting because it's not a very strong grip on this part. This side of it grips a bit better, so I don't think it would open on its own. There's a small hole in the cap so that it can dry, but yeah, this connection here is a bit weak, so I don't know if there's a way to fix it. If you know of one, please let me know in the comments. But that would be my only issue with this brush. Otherwise, it performed really well. The point was really serviceable and it kept well. The pencil is really straightforward and worked well for sketching. Now, I ran into some issues with the fine liner because it dried up on me really quickly. As you can tell, this is not optimal. So basically, this one, I was able to ink half a postcard with it, and then I'm gonna have to bin it. This is the postcards, not much to say about these at this point, though I do like that they're pre-printed on the back. So I feel like this makes it a really fun travel kit, because you could paint these and probably mail them really quickly. And now the main item, I would say, the paints. So I did the swatches. This is the swatches. You can see how the fine liner wrote at the beginning too. It went from this to this in half a drawing. So I must have gotten a faulty one or something, because that's not usual for fine liners. The color selection is quite serviceable, I would say. You get a neutral and a warmer yellow, you get a red and a magenta. The blues are really similar, but this one is a bit more cyan than this one. Then you also get a lavender. You get two greens, one that is more like a phthalo green yellow shade and one more like a phthalo green blue shade. And then you also get a brown, a black, and a white. Now my white swatch is a bit dirty because the pen I used the fine liner, but I guess it mustn't have been dry fully before I painted it. Or sometimes that can happen, especially with a water brush. The first thing that jumps out to me is just how bright these colors are, and I mean really, really bright. I have my UV light here, so let's do a quick test of... Alright, so from what I can see, only the lavender seems to have a bit of brighteners in it, or neon dyes in it, which is not entirely a surprise, judging on how it behaved. Now the paints in the pan, this is what it looks like at the moment. The paints were all easy to re-wet. I really didn't encounter any issue working with these paints. The color selection made it a bit difficult to get more natural looking colors, though this is not necessarily a flaw for everyone. I'm going to show you what I painted with this, and we'll be able to talk a bit more about the paints in action and how everything behaved. So I did two little paintings. The first one I did on a postcard. I tried to use everything that came in the set for this one. So I sketched it with the pencil, erased with the eraser, I had to sharpen my pencil, and I inked most of it with the fine liner until it dried up, and then I used a different waterproof 0.3 fine liner for the rest of it, and I used the paints, and that's what I came up with. So I would say that the fine liner that comes with the set is indeed waterproof, but it was very short-lived. The pencil worked well, the water brush worked well. I didn't use the travel brush for this one, but I did use a bit of the spray to get things started in there. The color mixed decently well, though there was a bit of a separation when you get to the purple. It tends to separate into a bright neon pink undertone and then a purple overtone. So I feel like the neon pink undertone is probably the dye, tends to separate. And I mean, it glows under UV light, but not by an excessive amount. You really have to look close to see it. So I feel like there's a bit of a dye in there. Also, since there's no pigment information for these, so this is just an educated guess. So yeah, I mixed a few of the colors, like to make the oranges, to make the greens, the variations, and I would say that these are not something that I would qualify as professional level paints, but I think they're quite easy to use and you can still paint with them, no problem. I see this set as a beautiful gift you could offer a child, someone who is not hindered by trying to match the colors of nature and all of that necessarily. Someone who will fully enjoy the bright colors of this set. I also like that it's an excellent starting point because you have everything in this little bundle to really try it out and see what you like. You can test a water brush, see if you like that. You have a regular brush, see if you prefer that. You have a pencil, an eraser, sharpener. Technically, you get a fine liner. Like, you have an element of the whole creation pipeline so you can fully test it out, which I think is really nice. Also, the tin itself is really nice. You could eventually, if you use up these paints or if you decide to replace them, you could remove the pans and put new pans in there. And it's still a very nice tin. It works really well. The paint doesn't bead on it. Now, I wanted to see how the paints would work on cotton paper because it's not said, but I'm sure this is not cotton paper. This is cellulose paper. So I went to my sketchbook and I did this little painting here where I went and swatched the colors again on cotton paper and also did a little piece here. I struggled a bit with the colors. Like I said, they are all very, very bright. And yes, I could spend the time to mute them down and make mixes, but that's not usually how I work. So instead, I decided to fully embrace the purple and to try and make this little scene with it. Now I had to ink this with other pens that I have, and I painted this one with the brush, even if it's a bit wobbly because of the connection that is not quite sturdy enough. But if you grip it under the connection, it's fine. You can work with it, no problem. And it's a good size. It comes to a fine point. I was able to do the details I wanted. I feel like the paints are a bit messy in the sense that you can get some odd things going. Like I said, with the purple, you can kind of see the pink coming through more here. And also this area that I painted with the purple, the pink settled in the paper right away. So you kind of have this pink stroke at the background that I didn't have time to fully mix in with the rest of it. And I did try some layering and some dry brushing a bit. It works, but I don't think this is really suited to the type of stuff that I do. If I had to try and suggest a use for these, I think people who paint really gestural floral might have a fun time with these because the colors are so bright and so vibrant that you might get some really fun effects if you paint with brushstrokes and have this wet in wet mix thing that happens on the paper. Though you would need different paper than the postcards possibly, and also a different brush because this one is a bit too small to do really the gesture thing. The water brush is a bit bigger, but again, I don't know if it's a type of brush that works well for these kind of florals. So what's my final word on this set? I would say that all the items that come in the set are quite nice. I'm not necessarily sold on the paints themselves, and there's a few issues to fix, like the fine liner and the travel brush that doesn't connect all that well. Depending on the price at which you find this set, it might be worth it for everything that comes with it. Otherwise, I really don't think this is a set that works for professional artists or for people who tend to draw stuff that is more muted color-wise. Does that make sense? Let me know what you think. I would like to read your thoughts in the comments below. And I want to say thank you to the company for sending me this set to try out. Like I said, I think it's a really fun idea and I like the assortment of items that come in this travel set, but there's also a few things that could be tweaked to be even better, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day. See you in the next one. Bye bye.